Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today is September 7th, 2020. It's Labor Day here in the United States. My name is Teri Hunter. I'm an angel therapy practitioner, Reiki master, intuitive astrologer, and empowerment coach. And I'm here with your weekly installment of Pick an Angel Card Reading. What I'm going to do today is 3 different spreads, and you're going to allow your intuition to guide you as to which spread is most appropriate for you for this week. But before I start, I just want to tell you a little bit about what's going on in the stars, in the skies right now. For those of you that are not into astrology, there have been some planetary activity, and I just want to, for those of you that are into astrology, it may be you may have heard this before, so that's why I'm kind of saying this. For those of you that are new, there's some challenging dynamics going on right now. We have basically 5 planets retrograde. On September 9th through the 12th, we will have 6 planets retrograde. And a retrograde planet is really an opportunity to reflect and to review on whatever that planet represents. And I'm not going to go into all of it because that would be a video in and of itself. But what I do want to make you aware of is that this week is particularly interesting because of this dynamic. It only happens 0.7% of the time. Mars is joining the retrograde during the 9th through the 12th, and then Jupiter will go direct. So being aware of this week being maybe a little choppy in its movement forward, in your beliefs being challenged in some way, your actions being thwarted, people saying no when they would normally say yes. Just being prepared for that will help you traverse this week even more effectively and not allow yourself to get as frustrated. The potentials for anger and frustration over the next few months are extremely high. Mars is squaring Pluto, Saturn, and what will be Jupiter going direct, and this is going to create tension. Mars wants to move forward. It sees something and wants to take action immediately. And I think of it sort of as the young buck, that wants to go right in and charge in and use its virile strength. Whereas Saturn represents an older energy, like the wise elder saying, no, the time is not quite right. Wait, and it's this push-pull. So you may be experiencing that this week. All right, let's jump into our readings. If you have not been here before, sorry, I'm a little choppy today. I'm going to put the timestamps in, and you just can click on the timestamp, and that will lead you directly to the reading. So let's start with reading number 1. I'm going to start with my angel deck. I'm going to pull 4 cards, and then I'm going to marry it with my Legend of Avalon deck. The first position represents the foundation. What's the energy that we're starting the week off on? The second card represents the opportunity and or the obstacle. Every opportunity has an inherent obstacle, and every obstacle has an inherent opportunity. The third position represents the angel's advice, and the final position the third position represents the angel's advice for taking advantage of the opportunity or getting around the obstacle. And the final position represents the potential outcome for the week. One of the most amazing things that we've been given as humans is the gift of thought and free will. And so while we may think that there are forces that are working either for or against us, we have the free will of our perspective and our choice. So for those of you that clicked card reading number 1, the angel Rochelle is in the foundational position being joined by the focus card. Ariel in the opportunity or the obstacle is being joined by the Baird. In the third position with the angel's advice is Oceana, the angel Oceana being joined by the Wind Fairy. And in the final position, we have Crystal, the angel Crystal being joined by the Lady of the Lake. The angel Rochelle represents following the guidance of your heart. Your heart will never be logical. It will never be realistic. Your heart will be a dreamer. It will believe that the most highest vibration is possible, that there are no barriers. And in fact, in many ways, that is true. The sign Leo represents the heart chakra. Leo is ruled by the sun. The sun rules our zodiac. The fifth house of Leo represents fun, romance, children, personal pleasure, hobbies, crafts, creative genius. So when I'm telling you this, because this is a time to really follow your heart, the inner leader, and allow that to be your focus. For those of you that pulled card reading number 1 in the foundational position is the angel Rochelle saying, as you honor and follow the guidance of your heart, prosperity is coming to you. And that prosperity is much bigger than just material prosperity. It's much bigger than just money. It's feeling satisfied and fulfilled in my intimate body, my physical body, my emotional body, my spiritual body, my family body, my financial body. In your opportunity and or your obstacle is the Baird, and the Baird is my history. It's where I come from. And here's Ariel saying new psychic and spiritual experiences are changing the way you view yourself and others. This last 2 years that we've been going through a transit, Saturn and Pluto have been coming together in Capricorn, has been very, very tumultuous. It has really dredged up all of the darkness of the human experience and our own particular behaviors, and that would be represented by our history. But as we turn to spirit and we look for the wisdom, the contrasting experiences, because now in the angel's advice, it's time to take loving action as you analyze your history. And has your history in many ways worked for you? For those of you that picked card reading number 1, our history is not just an anchor. It's not just something that is constantly tripping us up. It's something that when transformed becomes almost like a guidepost or a North Star. Because as we feel a familiar energy, we can take a pause and then assess the situation and decide how we want to move. That's what the Wind Fairy is offering you this week. And in the final position is the angel Crystal, saying that have faith and hope because there's more on the horizon that you cannot see. And there's the Lady of the Lake. She's asking for courage, self-respect, responsibility, and absolute truth. And she's coming up through these tumultuous waters representing our emotions, the emotions that our history brings up. And there's Excalibur, the sword of truth. And as she stands within the stormy seas, she is strong. The wind may blow around her, but it's not blowing her over. So for those of you that picked angel reading number 1, focus in on the desires of your heart. Turn your history over to spirit and ask them to give you experiences that reveal the tools and the pearls that that history reveals. And then your job in many ways is to take action and to lovingly assess your story. And then to have faith and hope that there's more on the horizon. And that as you walk through the stormy seas of 2020, that there will be something, there will be a morning after. There will be a dawn after the darkness, and the dawn will be a much brighter day because it will be focused on your heart. All right, let's go on to card reading number 2. All right, so as I shuffle the cards, I'm just going to quickly explain the positions for those of you that are just clicking on the timestamp. The first position represents the foundation. It is the energy with which we're walking this week. We're starting off. The second position represents both our opportunity and or our obstacle. One coin, two sides. Every opportunity has an inherent obstacle, and every obstacle has an inherent opportunity. In the third position, we have the angel's advice for taking advantage of the opportunity or for getting around the obstacle. And in the final position, we have what the potential outcome is for the week. What will have evolved? What will have transpired in the way of your own awareness and inner knowledge? Circumstances may vary. It is a time on Earth and what we are transcending where very unexpected dynamics will be happening. Things even the greatest psychics can't quite predict. So this is really more focused in on how you will view and filter the dynamics around you. So for those of you that picked card reading number 2, we have Archangel Raphael being joined by the Queen. In the second position, we have Xana being joined by the Joy card. In the third position, we have Bridget being joined by the Trust card. And in the final position, we have Akasha being joined by the Disruption card. Archangel Raphael is the great physical healer. And what I want to say is that this feminine energy here, known as the Queen, I believe this is the keys to your healing, to your balancing, to your illumination. For those of you that picked card reading number 1, you're fostering the energy of the Queen, which is confident, receptive, feminine, fertile. And I don't care if you're a man or a woman, because you may be fertile in your business, fertile in your creative dynamics. But it is through reception. It is through almost a stepping back from taking action. I started this video talking a bit about astrology and the idea that Mars, the planet of action, and Saturn, the planet of deliberation, of taking your time, of really thinking about things, they're squaring each other. And that square is creating tension. So it is a time to receive illumination as you allow for a pause that is focused in on your joy. This is the angel Xana offering you protection. And I believe this is emotional, spiritual protection. And there's the Joy card. Because as you sit in reception, waiting for your next inspired action, for that thought that says, oh, this is a time to take action. Because now is not the time. Now is a time to look deeper and deeper into what truly brings you joy, and trusting that if you look deeper into that dynamic, it will start to manifest your joy. And I want to offer this because in the final position, for those of you that have picked card reading number 2, I have the Disruption card and I have Akasha, the spiritual teacher. I don't think this Disruption card is necessarily negative. I think that if one has been operating on a certain belief, I must do this in order to have that. I must show up this way. It is what is expected of me. That is not joy at its highest level. That is an obstacle. And I feel like what you have to learn this week is that disruption has something to teach you about how to receive at a deeper level, how to truly be receptive and fertile in the things that do bring you joy, and allowing not to necessarily take action to push things out of your experience or out of your world that don't serve you. It's in some ways allowing for an illumination, receiving guided action that will allow you to feel protected as you step into your joy, that doesn't have to disrupt your life in the way you think it does. The disruption may be the disruption of your old pattern thought. I must do this. And then you find out that when you've communicated that feeling or that dynamic, the other party or the other side says, no, you don't. And that's where the disruption comes, and where you have something to learn about how disruption serves your greatest good. All right, let's go on to angel reading number 3. Okay, here we go. So for those of you that have just gone straight to the timestamp and haven't listened to the beginning of the video, I'm going to explain as I shuffle what the positions mean. The first position is the foundational position. It's the energetic platform that this week represents for you. Second position represents your opportunity and or your obstacle. 1 coin, 2 sides. Every opportunity has an inherent obstacle, and every obstacle has an inherent opportunity. The third position represents the angel's advice for taking advantage of the opportunity, for getting around the obstacle. And the final position represents the energetic dynamic through the series of choices that you've made based on the spread or based on your own beliefs. Whoops. And so it's the energetic dynamic that you've accomplished by the end of the week. So I have in the first position, for those of you that picked angel reading number 3, I have the angel Oceana and the Queen, joining the Queen. I have Rosetta and the Wealth card together. I have Grace and Antoinette in the Angel's Advice and the Restriction card. And in the final position, I have Omega and the, the Angel Omega and the Spider. I'm a little choppy with my words today. Okay, so Oceana says to lovingly take action, to assert yourself towards the things that you want. But I want to offer it this way, because Oceana is traveling up through the waters, into the light, towards the surface. We can see a whale in the background and we can see the stars. And I believe that this is really more of an emotional taking action. And I feel like it's about really thinking about how you would feel like you're having dominion over your life. Many of you are not female, you're male, but taking the female and the male dynamic out of it, and the idea that the king would represent taking action and the female, the queen, would represent receiving. I feel like this week is an opportunity to truly think about what it is that brings you emotional satisfaction, emotional fulfillment. And that's in your intimate body, as well as your emotional body and your spiritual body and your partnership body. Because in the opportunity of the obstacle, we have Rosetta that talks about parenting, teaching, and guiding children. And we have the Wealth card. And many of you, because the Queen represents fertility, many of you may want to start a family, whether you're a man or a woman. And it's time to start to take action on that idea. It's time to start to think from an innocent way that if indeed you have that desire and that motivation and that appetite to either have children or to foster or to start to nurture a childhood dream, there is harmonious wealth offered here. This is your opportunity. It's also your obstacle, because in some ways, and what the angels are saying is that there has been a restriction. You have not been either able to conceive, or you've not been able to conceive your creative babies in a way that's given you something tangible in the earth plane. And now is a time to have compassion and to think about something, think of the restriction in a much bigger way. If indeed part of this dream that you're having, those of you that picked angel reading number 3, is to indeed start a family. I talked about some of the challenging dynamics going on astrologically. I haven't really dug deep into it here on my channel, but I intend to do more videos on it. And the last 2 years being born at this time was very, very challenging. That the planets that were meeting and joining together and creating aspects are those of revolution, of those of disruption, those of breaking old structures and building new structures. So there may be the possibility that the little souls that want to come through you as a vessel are waiting for the dynamics to be more fertile for them as they move forward, because whatever you desire to create or to birth into your life is coming to fruition. That's what Omega offers: victory. Keep up the good work, because your desire is happening. And here's the Spider. It represents creative projects. It also represents relationships for me, because when the spider or any bug that gets into that web, it's not coming out. There's a cooperative relationship. So for those of you that picked angel reading number 3, I in some ways want to go towards creating a family, creating and creating a family is not always getting married. You know, sometimes it's our friend family. Sometimes it's the community and the tribe we create together. But specifically, if indeed you want to give birth to your own intimate family, it's a time to have compassion for yourself. If there's been restriction, it's a time to consider that maybe the dynamics were not as fertile as they could be moving forward. And now, as you relax into a joyous place and enjoy your intimate body without putting an agenda on it, and allow things to move forward. All right, that's it for this week. My name is Teri Hunter. Again, I'm an angel therapy practitioner, Reiki master, intuitive astrologer, and empowerment coach. And I'm here every week with Pick Your Angel card reading. And I hope you'll join me. Please subscribe, please like, and if you'd like to get a personal reading, feel free to reach out to me. The information is below. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful week. I'll be back next Monday.